What's up, y'all? So this video is about how I used eBay to garner about $10,000 net this year, my first year reselling from February, like late February, so almost basically like March 1st to October 17th. So I'm going to try to make this video with little, if no edits as possible, because I just want to give you the unfiltered truth and kind of just more of a conversation with you of how I did it. A lot of people are asking me questions, so I just want to make sure I can give as many good answers as humanly possible. But basically, I'm going to talk about how I did it in my process and what you can kind of learn from that, because every process is different. It's not going to work for everybody. But let's start with the basics of using eBay. To me, like, there's a lot. There's Poshmark, there's eBay, there's Mercari, there's Facebook Marketplace. There's so many, and others that I didn't even name. I like eBay the most because I think it protects the seller the most from what I've seen and what I've experienced over the time so far. Is that, and I've used Facebook Marketplace before in the past, and I feel like it's way too easy to get scammed on there. There's way too many. It's way too out of your control for some reviews and something like that. Like, you have someone that doesn't like you and kind of messes up your whole thing. So I think that for any true reason, by the way. So I think eBay is the one that protects the buyers and sellers the most, because I feel like eBay's customer service team, especially how long eBay's been in business, they have a really good way to kind of like mitigate certain things and scams and stuff. Like, I've been subject to stuff, and there's been situations just happen, like items get lost or whatever, items get lost in the mail or whatever. So eBay has done a really nice job protecting the buyers and sellers, in my opinion. The only thing that sucks about eBay is the 14% fee they take every single time you sell something. It's a transaction fee. They take about 13 or 14% of your income from the sale, and they pocket that, which can be kind of annoying. For example, I sold something that's like $1,500. After the fees and everything, it was like I only netted like around, I think, 1,200 or something like that. Like, they take a lot. They took like $190 something if I'm doing the math correctly. So eBay takes a lot, but I always tell people, man, sell with what you have. Like, whatever you have around your house that you don't mind parting with, sell that. That's how I got started. I didn't go out there and buy a bunch of stuff that I knew nothing about to try to flip. That's how you take a lot of losses and how you don't survive long in this business. Like, for me, it's just sell what you have. So you have a bunch of old VHS tapes or a bunch of old DVDs that you're not using, or maybe if you have kids. I know a lot of my friends have kids and they have just piles and piles and piles of baby clothing, and they want to get rid of it. Like, those are things you can sell. So sell what's in your house first, or your apartment, wherever your living space is. Or some people have storage full of stuff. It's just collecting dust. Like, clean that off and go sell that. So, like, sell what you have first to make sure you even like this business, because this is not passive income. That's, I think, one of the biggest misnomers about this. This is active. Like, you really have to work in order to like get even $500, let alone 10K net. So, and that's just from eBay. I also do some live shows sometimes, like card shows, and also do Mercari. So that's eBay, Mercari, live shows is where I get my money from. So yeah, sell what you have. Also, in my experience, how I did it as well, as I sold small and gained big. So I didn't sell any, like, the largest item I sold, I think, was like a sword. I sell some, there's some cosplay swords and stuff like that. I have those. I sold some of those off. Those are like the longest and the heaviest things I've sold. Other than that, like, I think I sold a console. I don't know if I sold like a big console before, but I usually sell handheld consoles. I don't sell like big stuff because, one, it's heavy. And I do it by myself. I don't have employees or anything like that. So I want to make sure that I save as much energy as I can, because I do a lot throughout my reselling day. Like, my day is not just packaging stuff. So you just want to make sure that, you if you're doing this by yourself, which I'm sure if you're watching, as many of you are, that you do it so that, one, is not too heavy for you, depending on who you are. Maybe there's a lot of people who are disabled who also do reselling, so they have to be very careful about what they sell, how they sell it, and when they sell it. So, like, just my biggest rule of thumb, just like bigger items are a pain to ship. They're a pain to carry to the store and back, especially if you're like loading a bunch of shipments for the day that need to go out. And also, in terms of your space, wherever your living space may be, maybe you don't have big enough space to be having all these large items just all in your corner, all in your house and stuff until you sell them. So I try to sell little stuff. So I sell like video games, I sell comic books, manga, I sell Blu-rays, I sell VHS tapes, I sell stuff like that. So and some electronics, but like small electronics. So I sell stuff that is just smaller, and trading cards too, of course, trading cards, sports cards. So I sell stuff that are really small and that I can file away. Because one, again, I don't want to take up too much space, and I'm someone that's called a quick flipper. So I try to flip stuff as quick as humanly possible. So I try my best to like, okay, once it get into my inventory, I keep track of it using Excel spreadsheet, which we'll talk about in a second. I want it out as soon as possible. I've had items, especially Pokemon stuff. Pokemon sells like fire. So if you have any Pokemon games or old school Pokemon cards, especially if you don't collect anymore, so you probably have some old school Pokemon cards, look them up, see how much they're worth, because those could be really great items that can be worth like $100 to $300 items that are just sitting around there, especially if you don't want it or don't play it or whatever. That's something that can really get you started on your eBay or reselling journey. So I try to sell small items, because the smaller items doesn't mean they're cheap. It just means they take up less space and they're cheaper to ship. That's nothing. Shipping will beat your ass if you let it. You have to be really smart with shipping. So that's why I do lighter items, so that I don't have to spend that much money on shipping. That's the majority of the reason I don't want to spend too much money on shipping and boxes. I use bubble mailers the most. That's why I sell, like, that's why I send out with like 90% of my inventory. Bubble mailers have bubbles in them, bubble wrap in them, that kind of protect your package or your product that you're shipping out. And they're just cheaper to get than a bunch of boxes. You don't have to worry about all this tape and all this other stuff. So that was your best friend. Sell what you have. Sell small. Don't be arrogant. Like, just don't go out there and just do all that stuff. So just sell what you have. Make sure you like it. Make sure you can get they like reselling. Make sure you can figure out if the market is going to be right for you. Another thing I do is that you gotta be very organized, right? You gotta be super, super, super organized. And what do I mean by that? So I have all my bell mailers, tape, my scale, everything in one spot, so that once I get an order, I can just go to the bell mailer, get that stuff done, the boxes, everything. Everything's where it needs to be. And the reason why is because you'll be surprised how many times, like, I've lost product before. I've lost product. Like, my product's all alphabetized on shelves and stuff like that, so I know exactly where it's at. I can get it, boom, 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 gone. There's been many times where someone has bought something from me and I cannot find it. It happens sometimes. It happens in business when you're trying to rearrange stuff, when you get holes in your inventory, so you're trying to, like, do filling. If you worked in retail, you know what I mean. So stuff gets lost sometimes, and so being organized is a great way to not lose money, lose reputation, because those two things is what's going to stop you from, excuse me, being successful on eBay. So being organized is big. It saved me a lot once I started getting the flow of things and started getting organized. I stopped losing stuff as much, and I started to be able to just see what you have. So when you go out there in the store, or when you go sourcing, which means basically go shopping for inventory to sell or flip, you'll be able to know exactly what you have when you have it, and you can, like, just make sure, if you want duplicates, you'll have duplicates. If you don't want duplicates, you'll make sure you don't get duplicates, because the last thing you want to do is have your stuff all over the place and not know what you have when you have it, which brings me to a spreadsheet. Spreadsheets will save your life. It will get you money. Trust me. Everything I'm saying is what helped me get my money. Spreadsheets are good because, one, I keep inventory. I even have a you don't have to buy one of these, but I have one of those inventory guns. They can, like, scan barcodes and stuff, and you can, like, upload to a spreadsheet like that. I have that because it just makes, I sell volume, which means I sell hundreds of stuff. I have hundreds of listings every month. So I need to make sure I can keep track of all that stuff, or else I'm going to get stuff lost. I'm going to post stuff that I don't even have anymore, or relist stuff I don't have anymore, like stuff like that. So just doing that is great. Also, Excel spreadsheets I use to see how much I bought something for and how much it's selling for, so I can keep track of my records in real time. Yes, eBay has a back end that's pretty good and can tell you all that stuff, so you don't have to manually do all this. Guy manually do it. But it can be bad when you lose track of how much you're spending and how much, because eBay can't tell you how much you're spending. So I like to just keep all that in one spreadsheet, because also another thing is when you sell, I think the federal limit is like $500. It could be $500 or $600, something around there. eBay will lock your account until you have to report this to the IRS. You have to, like, fill out IRS form just like you would at any other job to show, like, okay, this is his income, and you have to report that income, right? So having a spreadsheet for tax season will save your life. It'll save you a lot of headache. It'll just, trust me. I did it it was a whole thing last year, or, like, technically, because I started selling in March, so it was a whole thing. Yeah, just make sure you have records of what you're doing. It just makes your life easier. So being organized is big. Being organized is big. Also sourcing. So basically, sourcing again is the fun. The I guess for a lot of people, the fun part of reselling, which is going out there and buying your items for your store. So I do that through. I try to avoid retail stores. Like I don't go to GameStop, Walmart. Like I don't go to any of the Target. Like I don't go to any of those stores for anything except trading cards, like wax, which means like like booster boxes, stuff like that. I don't think I have any up here to show you, but yeah, basically like stuff that trading cards are in that's factory sealed from the factory straight to the store. Because retail stores sell everything at retail price and you'll rarely make money off of that. You'll probably lose a lot of money doing that. So your best bet is to go to like secondary stores like Goodwill, Salvation Army, like any kind of thrift stores, secondhand stores, stuff like that. That's not going to be selling stuff at retail price or even maybe not even at market price. My and again another philosophy is buy as low as possible and keep all the profit. You know what I'm saying? Because if you let's say you buy something, let's say somehow you find a Pokemon Advance game which sells for a lot and sells very quickly. Let's say you buy one for like $60 somehow. But the market value or secondhand value is like 200 some dollars. See what I'm saying? Like that's a wild example. You'll never find that. You'll never find it, but like that. But I'm just saying as an example, like that's how you get profits. Because the whole point of this is to get money. The only way you do that is if you're very smart with your how much you're spending on these items and then how much you're making off these items. And that difference in between is what you get to keep in pocket. So you gotta be really careful. I'm not a math guy, so that's why I need spreadsheets. They can add all these formulas in so it can just auto calculate a lot of stuff for you. And it's like very quick, very simple. I do that because if I mismanage my money, and I've done it a couple of times through this journey because there's a lot of just moving pieces sometimes. You lose money, you get in trouble with yourself because your budgeting's all messed up and you can't buy any more inventory for it's a whole thing. It's very dangerous. So you just want to make sure you're managing your money, you're managing the budgets, you're setting aside what you want, like what your goals are. Like I have a goal of like just making sure my shop is consistent. So right now my goal for the year, it was always just make sure I want to average one sale a day at minimum. I don't want to go days without selling. There's dry spells. Sometimes it just is what it is. The market is what it is. And sometimes there's just dry spells. But my goal is to get consistent sales, even though no matter how big or small, I just want consistent sales. So I start with one. Next year, I want at least 5 sales a day. So like, there's stuff like that. Like I just want to keep consistency because consistency will get you paid. It'll get you seen on the eBay algorithm, and it's very important. So you gotta really stay consistent. So yeah, be organized. Sourcing, go to your stores, man. Try to make it where it's like I know not everyone can do sourcing in the crack early of dawn and all this other stuff. So my biggest, like I know a lot of friends, my friends have kids. A lot of them go to school. A lot of them like go to their grad school or something, or like they're teachers, or like they just don't have, or 9-to-5ers in general, like they don't have time to like do this. So I always tell people, if you're really serious about it, like you're gonna have to find a way. Like my friends, his kids go to like I think Boys and Girls Club or something like that. So when he drops them off, in between time, he usually just sitting in the parking lot or whatever. So like he'll go sourcing during that time. So like that's a good time to go sourcing. Or like when my other friend, she drops her kids off and has like a couple hours to herself like before she goes do her stuff. So she will, after dropping them off to school or whatever, she'll go source a little bit. Like, or some people go source on the lunch break during work or whatever the case may be. Like find stores that are near you or near your route of what you take every day that you can just pop in, see what's good, and pop out. Don't make this more difficult than it needs to be. Like I have my routes that I take. I used to do it daily. Now I do it like twice a week. Sometimes once a week, depending on how busy it is. But I try to go twice a week. And yeah, just make it convenient. It's on my way to and from where I need to go and where I'm going. Like it fits my schedule. It fits the time. I try to be as efficient as possible. You really want to be efficient when you do this because efficiency, again, will get you paid and it will make this a lot less stressful than it needs to be. And it'll be hard in the beginning because you're trying to figure all this out. So just keep that in mind. Try to not get frustrated with that. And also like lastly, I guess, reinvest in the business, man. So like I said, some of the money you'll get, it'll be like, oh, I want to spend, I want to do this and this. If you're just doing that as a side thing and it's just extra pocket money for you, perfect. Do what you gotta do. If this is something you want to slowly grow into like a part-time / full-time thing, and you want to be able to run this, you really need to start investing in things as quickly or earlier as possible. One big thing that saved me hundreds of dollars, I'm not even kidding, is buying a label printer. So this label printer is a HP label printer. I think it cost me like 100 something, $140 or something, 170. I think $170. It was worth every penny. I made my money back like within like 2.5 weeks, man. Like it's outstanding because I would waste a lot of time in the UPS store, the USPS store, and like you also have more options and you get discounts when you get shipping through eBay, opposed like going to the UPS store, going to USPS place, the post office, and like dealing with that. So I saved like hundreds of dollars very quick. Like it wasn't even funny. Like I saved money very quickly, and also you can just put all the information on your back end on eBay when you're trying to ship an item out. You get the rate, you just print it right here, and you just stick it onto your package, and you're out the door, and you just literally drop it off. You drop it off. It is so nice. It's so convenient. It saves so much freaking time, man. Because a lot of people are doing this, and a lot of people have shipping and other stuff to do. So sometimes you'll be in the UPS store or the post office for anywhere between. There's times I've been in the office for like an hour, just because that's how chaotic and busy it can be sometimes. Especially when you have to like sit there, you have like 5, 6, 7 orders. I had like 7 orders max one day, and like it's just a lot. So label printer saves your life. Also bubble mailers if you're shipping small items. Get some boxes depending, just in case you need them. If you have like I have certain like sometimes I sell bulk of like comics or something, and you can't just put that in the bubble mailers. I need a box for that, so I try to buy a couple of boxes just so I don't have to keep going to the Staples or Walmart or whatever to buy boxes. So I try to do that. Bubble mailers are really cool. Another thing is always talk to your local Staples and some of these local stores or wherever you're at, because they have a lot of deals for like business owners. Best Buy, Home Depot, like a lot of these places have business accounts or business owners. For business owners, you don't have to like, you don't have to like show your LLC for some of this stuff. I don't think. But for some of them, I have one, so that's why I kind of forget off the top of my head. But there's some places where you don't need all that. You can just literally go to someone and be like, hey, I need like a huge bulk of bubble mailers. Like I need like 250 bubble mailers. Can I just buy in bulk? And they'll like help you out because they know like, you're obviously running some kind of business or something where you need a bunch of bubble mailers at one time. So you're not just there messing up their whole inventory, and then you're just like they run out, and because they don't always carry like that many bubble mailers. Like I need a lot, so I just order like whatever, 100 something, 200 something. I just pay for it and never have to go back for a couple months. You know what I'm saying? So time again saves a lot of time. At the end of the day, honestly, it saves money as well. So those are like a couple of things I would say that really helped me out. Again, I'm sorry this video is gonna be kind of long, so I apologize for that. I just want to make sure I get as much as possible, but yeah, basically you just want to make sure that this makes sense for you and that you're selling efficiently. Like I said, if you're doing the operation by yourself, sell smaller items that don't take up space and that you can ship very quickly and don't cost that much in shipping. Because you can't control where people are buying your stuff from. Like you can control international versus domestic shipping, obviously, and stuff like that. So you can shut it off so like no one from like France or something is trying to buy your items. They have to deal with that price. But domestically, you can't control it. So, like, let's say, like, I'm on the East Coast. So, someone in California or Hawaii or Puerto Rico, like, there's certain places where I'm like, okay, or Guam. I've had a couple orders to Guam. So, there's places where it's like, you can't control it, and the shipping's going to be what the shipping is. So, you can also make sure they pay the shipping, so you can calculate it and make sure they pay shipping. You don't have to pay the shipping as a seller. But sometimes you can do. Sometimes you can do something where it's like, I know for some people to say it works, I don't think it works that much or that often, but sometimes people do free shipping, but really they just they calculate the shipping cost and just add it to the overall price. So either way, you're not paying for shipping, but that's a little bit more tedious and annoying because you have to make sure that you know exactly what the shipping costs are, or else you're going to lose money on that. And it's just whatever. I've experienced no true crazy drop from having free shipping. Like I always just make the person pay for shipping because it is what it is. So doing that's a must. So sell small, gain big, be organized as possible, reinvest in the business, what I'm saying, get yourself a printer, another thing I forgot too is a scale. If you're going to get a printer, you need a scale. So I have a scale. It's a small little, it's not a big, like I think it's a scale I buy at Staples actually for like 60 or 70 bucks or something. It measures in ounces and grams and stuff. Ounces and pounds of what you'll need. So it does ounces of pounds. So I do it. it can handle a good amount of weight. Like, it can't handle like a huge giant ass like box, but like it can handle everything that I need. So it handles your video games. You get like, okay, this is like 6 ounces, or a book, this is a pound, depending on how many books you have, like just stuff like that. So you can enter it into your back end, so you can print your shipping label. So you definitely need a scale, and having the scale and the label printer saved me so much time and money, man. I'm telling you, sorry, I'm telling you, reinvest into your business as much as possible. It'll definitely help you. What market to get into, it depends on what you like. So if you like video games, sell video games. You like trading cards or sports cards, sell that. If you like books, sell that. And again, sell what you have at home. So if you have a bunch of books at home, sell that. Like, there's no wrong answer to what you get into. The only thing is there demand for what you're selling? Like, if there's no demand for what you're selling, then you're not going to be able to sell it. It's going to take forever. There's a lot of other technical aspects to eBay that I can go into, but I'll say that for a different video, or this is going to be like an hour long. But if you want that, like, if you want a more technical deep dive in the eBay app itself and what you can use in the eBay app to like kind of help you get what you need, I can do that. But the one thing I will say is comps. That's the one thing I will go over about the eBay app that is a must for any reseller. So basically, this is what it is. Let's say, for example, I have this Nightwing comic book, right? And in this comic book, it's like, all right, I bought this comic book, or I want to buy this comic book. Let's say I'm at the store, I want to buy this comic book. I'm like, okay, I wonder if this is worth anything. Is it worth the time? Because this comic book really is like, what is it? Like probably like $6. It's $5. So it's like, okay, on the resale market, I'll probably only get like $2 for this. I don't know. Who knows? Or this could be a really popular comic. Who knows? So how do I know? I open up the eBay app, and through the eBay app, you can take a photo to search. So you can just take a photo of the cover and search the cover, and it'll generate a bunch of people who are also selling this exact comic. It's the exact cover, because sometimes there's variants. So this exact comic book, right? And then you can also click like a filter button and put sold, and that will show you all the sold copies of what you're trying to sell, what you're thinking about buying to sell, right? And why is that important? That's important because it will answer two very important questions for any reseller or anybody who's trying to resell. One, is there demand? If a bunch of people sold it, it'll show you the date of when it was sold and for how much. So you'll be like, okay, if you see a bunch through October, like it's October right now when I'm making this, so you see a bunch of sales for this comic in October and September, that means, okay, this is a really hot item. It's a quick flip. I'm a quick flipper in out. So I mean, okay, this is perfect for me and my business model, because I know I'll get this out my door very quickly and I'll make my money. So perfect. So the answer to that, is there demand? Two, how much can I make? It'll show you the date. Again, it'll show you the date, and it'll show you the money, the dollar amount sold for, and both of those things will be in green. That's how you tell the difference between sold and not sold. Not sold, they'll be white, just like you're searching for an item to buy or something. It'll show you white. Sold listings will be in green, and you can filter this. So you can just see one of those, right? So it'll show you how liquid this really is. So those are the two things you want to make sure you get answers for, and that's how you don't waste your time. Because otherwise you're going to just be blindly posting stuff, not knowing how long it will take to sell, how much you're supposed to sell for, all that stuff like that. Another cool thing about that filter option that'll show you when the sold listings is that you can press something called sold or sell similar. Sell similar will save you about, depending on how much you're listing a day, hours, right? This is basically what it is. So let's say, again, going back to this comic book, I want to sell this comic book, but I have let's say I have a whole mountain of comics I'm trying to sell, man. And to do listings meaning the posting, the stuff you're trying to sell, your products, is going to take time. You got to set up the thing. You want to make sure you take really good photos. You want to make sure you have really great titles. So like for a title for this, you need to put Nightwing comic, Dawn of DC, or Fall Grayson Part 2 of 5. You'll definitely want Nightwing, Fall Grayson Part 2 of 5 in your title, because those are keywords that when people are searching it up, they'll be able to find your listing. You want to make sure that's accurate as possible, and that takes time to do for every single item. So how do you circumvent that? You do the sell similar option. Like I said, you'll just take a photo of the comic. You'll take a photo of this comic, filter it to sell similar or sold, pick the one. I would pick the one that's the nearest comp, which means what the price is for the market right now, like what it's really selling for. Find the nearest date to whatever the date is that you're trying to sell this. Click that, and it'll have a down. You scroll down a little bit. It'll have something called Sell Similar. That Sell Similar button will basically take it so you can sell the exact listing, so that will, like someone else already made that listing. So basically you're just copying that listing and you're putting your own pictures to it and you can post it. So instead of doing all that stuff manually by yourself, someone already did all the work. So just use that because they already sold it. So they have the keywords, everything you need. You don't have to like come up with all this stuff by yourself. So you just basically Sell Similar, and it'll basically copy and paste the entire listing. All you have to do is just enter put your own pictures up there, upload your own pictures up there, and the condition of the item and the description, which again I just usually copy and paste the title to the description, and then if I have to leave some notes, I'll leave it in there, like, oh, there's a little ding here, a little ding there, or whatever the case may be. And then set your price. Obviously set the price to wherever the sold listing is around there, like play with those numbers, and then just put list, and your item's listed. And you can do that for pretty much everything. There's very little things that you cannot do that for, because a lot of things are sold on eBay. Like things of all kinds are sold on eBay. So you'd be surprised of like, oh, I wonder if anyone sold it. They have sold it before. So yeah, those are big tips and tricks that you can definitely use, or that's how I used it. Sell Similar really helped me find what things are worth, helped me learn the market a lot faster, and then it just saved me a lot of time so I can make sure I can sell all the stuff I'm selling. So just make sure you do that. Make sure you can do, and the thing that's cool about this, you can do all that stuff from your phone. So you don't need to, like, you can literally sell, I made $10,000 using my phone. The only time I ever touched eBay on my computer was to deal with, sometimes there's like a dispute or something, and I just like to open up my computer for that, or, cause now I have a printer and stuff. I had to print for like 2.5 months now. I have to use the computer to just fill out all the shipping information, and then obviously print it, give the print command to my label printer. So that's about it. Other than that, I literally list, I research everything through my phone. I sell it through my phone. I get the notification that I sold through my phone, and all that stuff. It's very beautiful. It's very convenient. It's super nice. So you don't need a high-end computer to sell on eBay. You just need something that can connect to the Wi-Fi and something that can give you the command to print. So that's basically what I've done in order to get a lot of money. There's some risks. There are some risks. Like I did at one point, like I did take like $250. Like when I kind of ran out of stuff to that, at least in my opinion, stuff that I thought I could sell, I was like, all right, I need to like, I was down to my last like $500, I think, in my account. Like it literally was like crazy. And I was like, all right, I'm going to take half of this. I'm going to take $250, because I had some stuff that I was like, okay, I know the market enough now where I know I can at least get the money back. If nothing else, I know I can at least get $250 back. But hopefully, let's see if I can turn this $250 into something else, because I really need the money. And I ended up turning that $250 into about, I would say like, I'm trying to do the exact math. I just had the exact math. I want to say like in net sales, not just gross total sales, but net sales, I would say about 7.5K. Well, I turned that 250 into. And I did that through some Pokemon Advance games that I was able to find on local markets. I also had I had a Pokemon Advance game from way back that I bought back in like 2006 or something. I traded that because it was like one of the higher end ones. I think it was like Fire Red or something, or Emerald, one of those two. And I traded that in for 2 other Game Boy games. And then like I bought some Game Boy Color games and some Game Boy Colors and stuff like that, $250. And then I just kind of sold that, made profit off of that, thank God, made profit off of it. And then I kind of just reinvested that into more. Like I got a couple of Dragon Ball Z Raging Blast 2 games for PS3. Those flipped pretty well. So then I was able to do that and get like more profit. And then I was just smart with my money. Like I have a lot of bills to pay, so like a lot of my money, I don't see a lot of it. But in terms of making it and then being 100% reliable myself was amazing. So like I've been doing this for a couple months without like a job. The only job is this, and I've been able to live off of this through just, again, smart decision. And you'll take L's. There'll be some times where you will take L's, man. I'm telling you, there'll be times where it's like you thought you knew the market. or maybe you did, maybe you were spot on, but then the market crashes like this. Especially since I sell trading cards a lot of the time too. Like the market is really finicky, so sometimes it will just crash, you'll lose out. It's just like the stock market sometimes. But for the most part, again, if there's demand and you have the supply to meet that demand, you'll make your money. I promise you. So it's really about researching. It's about finding what works best for you, and it's just about like finding out what sells really popular. Like for example, like in my area, a lot of people are really like New York teams. So it'll do well for me to buy a lot of New York product that people will like in this market, and I can sell that really quickly. Or let's say you're in California. Let's say like you're in San Diego. Okay, there's a bunch of what's the only team in San Diego that's left? The San Diego Padres. So it's like, okay, if I buy a lot of Padres gear, I can probably sell that, whether it's flea markets, whether it's swap meets, or like, online or whatever. I know I can flip that. People, there's demand for that. So like, you have to understand the demand for where you're at and what you're doing, and then you'll see the stuff grow from there. So that's pretty much it. I think I made this like 30 minutes. I apologize for the long video. I really thought I was going to be super suave and get this like within 15 minutes. But I just want to make sure I give you as much information as I can without getting like super jargon or super technical to the point where it's like, it's already a lot of information I'm throwing at you. But if you have specific questions of something I did answer, I promise I probably didn't answer everything. Feel free to like leave in the comment section below. I'll try to answer it through either comment or a video if need be. If there's enough comments, I'll probably just do another video and just answer those questions off rip. But yeah, reinvest, be organized, sell what you have, and sell what you know. Sell what you know, right? There are many ways to get things, and you don't want, like, video game has a lot of competition. So I wouldn't get into the video game market unless you really knew what it was. I just had a bunch of video games. I really, really know video games, and I love them. So I know what the market is. I know the kind of people I'm selling to. So I can, like, it's weird, but I can, like, visualize it, see it, and I know I can sell it. Same thing with comic books, manga, and stuff like that. I know nothing about certain car parts. So while that is very profitable, I would be buying secondhand car parts that I don't really know what to do. I wouldn't know how to maintain the condition for the things. I wouldn't know what to look for. I could research it and do it, but like I just don't have time to do that, and I'm doing good what I'm doing, so I just don't do stuff like that. But like if you know a lot about car parts, or like door handles, or like door knobs, or like spark plugs, or like what, there's a market for all this stuff, because there's stores that will buy stuff from eBay, or there's movie sets. I know a couple people who sold stuff to for props to use in movies or TV shows. Like, you'd be shocked. Like, a lot of people use eBay, so there's a market for everything is what I'm trying to say. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. See you on the next one. Big peace.